Good day, Africa. Welcome to African Student Voices on AAU TV. And AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. Today, we are coming to you live from the headquarters of the association here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Shimai Madaladem Doche. And on this episode, we are talking about the myth of a perfect career, rethinking success after graduation. And then I have with me amazing guests, but I'll introduce them after the break. You can also follow the conversation on our social media handles, Association of African Universities, on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. And if you just joined us, this is African Student Voices and on AAU TV. And as I said earlier, we would be discussing the myth of a perfect career path, rethinking success after graduation. And I have with me amazing guests whom I'm going to give a minute to introduce themselves. I'll start from you.
Hey, so I'm Miss Fa Insia Wedaga. I'm a level 300 student at the University of Ghana. Now I'm reading a geography major, and a sociology minor.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And you are?
Hi, I'm Nancy. Nancy Apia.
Okay.
I'm a film producer. Yes, and I'm currently studying communication at GIG.
Okay, you're both welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we want to talk about perfect career path, rethinking success after graduation. I mean, oftentimes, after graduation, a lot of people, or let me say, people expect a lot from you. After your NSS, which is the National Service, working with as a National Service personnel, people would have or usually have what they would want to do, the perfect career in quote. And mostly when it comes to perfect career, a lot of people feel wearing the suit and being in the office and the AC and having that comfort is what perfect career is all about. But then before we delve into that conversation, I want us to really talk about what success after graduation means to you. How do you define success after graduation? I'll start from Ms. Ba.
So success after graduation, that's a hard thing to define. But then I think for looking for my parents' angle, they would want after graduation me maybe furthering with a master's degree, or even not, if I'm not furthering, getting a very advantageous place to do my national service, and then continue from there, or boosting out from there into the work market, getting a very good job, getting good money coming in. And
So what is a good job? What is good job for you? In quotes, let me put it that way.
So good job can be like a job that offers you a lot of money.
Okay,
but then I think that is not the only thing that defines like a good job, because a good job should also be a place that allows you to explore your talents, a place that allows you to grow and to learn more. So that even if one day you leave that job, you are still like better off in getting better jobs, or you're still better off in growing in the job market.
Okay. All right. Let me come to you, Nancy.
Well, from experience, I can tell you that success after graduation is sitting down to take a good look at yourself properly. And you have to know what you actually love. Because I've come to realize that we do not actually want to pursue a job based on what we learned in school. And I had to, know this through experience, right? So it's a matter of knowing that this is what I love to do. This is what I want to do, and then pursuing it.
Okay.
So it's not really about money, as she said, because we've all followed, money, that path before, and then we ended up not being happy. But can you blame us? We are in a country where it's all about survival at a certain point. So you have to take that path, whether you like it or not, and probably chase what you actually love, and maybe get some money from that side,
Yeah.
but not entirely as you would get from, the other side.
Okay. So still on you, growing up, what has been your career aspiration?
Well, funny enough, I don't think I have drifted away from some of the things that I wanted to do when I was growing up. I quite remember, I still have this notebook where I've written all the things that I remember saying I wanted to be a TV presenter, an actress, a musician, and a lawyer. I think the only thing that I have not been able to do is studying law and being a lawyer. But the other things I have, experienced.
But would you want to study law?
Oh, yes. If God, permits, of course. I know it's difficult, and it demands your attention. Your
a lot of time.
You have to be very, very focused. Yeah. And of course, you have to love the job, because studying law is not an easy thing to do. So yes, maybe in the future
you will do that.
Yes.
Okay, let me come to you, Miss Ba. What has been, growing up, what has been the career aspiration?
There were a lot of career aspirations growing up. I mean, it was always changing based on the influence around me.
Okay.
So maybe parents think, oh, my parents actually wanted me to be a lawyer.
Okay.
But then my extended family now wanted me to be a doctor. And so it kept on drifting.
And then you yourself, you wanted to.
But then me, I think I didn't have a specific career path I wanted to take. I just knew I wanted to travel the world.
Oh,
and so everything I was doing,
never heard that before.
And so every career I was researching into, I was looking at something that would allow me the freedom and the money, the resources, the freedom to be able to achieve that dream. I think that's still what's going on. That's why I chose geography. And that's still the dream.
Okay. But then you spoke about, influence. What factors has influenced your career choice so far?
So far, parents are a major factor, because they're the ones paying for your fees, and you definitely have to listen to them. And
even when you don't like the course?
Oh wow, I have a different story to tell about
Even if you don't like it, then that's where negotiation comes in. You have to sit down with them, maybe get some people they respect, get to tell them, oh, I feel like your daughter would do better with this at this part, etc. I had problems like this. My mom wanted me to read science when I was getting into the senior high school. I wanted to read general arts. I had to get some teachers to convince her that I was better at general arts, and it's still a good career path anyway. So that's been the challenge. And I think the Ghanaian setting too has also been a major challenge, because as children growing up, we've been psyched to think courses like maybe geography, sociology would not get you anywhere, and you wouldn't really gain respect in society. And you have to stick to these generic rules that society respects. I think that also influenced me a lot. And up till now, I'm still, learning, unlearning, and relearning a lot of things.
Okay. Let's come to your story, Nancy.
When I completed senior high school, the first thing that my mom said was, we have to start getting you nursing forms.
Oh.
Yes. And I said, why nursing? I don't like anything relating to blood, because, I don't like it. And she's like, hey, there's too much respect. When you're a nurse, you get, respect from society, and it's a good profession.
Every woman, lady, girl,
And one thing is very funny is the fact that they always say your height, is suitable for being a nurse, because nurses, you have to be very smart. You're short, you're. And I told her, listen, I can't be a nurse.
Okay.
Because I believe that there are some certain courses, or there's some certain professions that you have to be very, very passionate about. And nursing, that I believe is one of the courses that if you're not passionate, or is one of the professions that if you're not very much passionate about, you cannot do it with so much sympathy.
Exactly.
And so I told her, no, I want to study film. They said, well, that's the first. In our family, no one does that. Where are you going to study film? Where? And I told them, I can make a change. Okay. You all can learn from it, And, in our society, our parents are not so used to their children learning cinematography.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
directing.
Their time was a bit different from ours.
And so I had to really sit down with my parents and tell them that this is what I love. it's either this or I'm not going to school.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, thankfully, after a period of time, they came around, and so they allowed me to study film in NAFTI. Yes.
Okay. So I believe it looks like your side of the story was a bit of an influence from parents, but then after understanding what you would want to do and the fact that is this or nothing, there was some form of collaboration.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at some what kind of skills and qualities you believe are essential for people in, I mean, the job market. As a student, you graduate, you go and do your national service. When you are done, you're looking for a job. Now, there are some basic skills that the industry will look at. So I would want us to talk about some of these basic or soft skills that we think industries would be looking out for in graduates who are, I mean, getting into the job market. I'll start from you, Mesra.
I think the two most important skills are adaptability and then critical thinking.
Okay.
Because most of the times, the degree you have does not really have a lot of influence on the jobs you're going to do. And before you find your dream job, you're going to go through a whole variety of fields. And so it's very important. I think that's one thing employers also look for, someone who is adaptable, because every company has their own values, has what they are looking for. So if you are someone that cannot easily adapt to their setting and fit into the mode they want you to fit into, that means you're not a good employee for them. And critical thinking too, I mean, that's problem solving, because every employer or every company exists to solve a problem and then profit from that problem they are solving. And if you are someone who cannot think critically, then you cannot solve these problems.
Okay. You have been in the field. I mean, you have been working for some time now, and I know you've been doing quite a lot of things here and there. So let's talk about what makes an essential, or what constitutes a successful industry. What qualities do you need to have in order to be successful in the industry, kind of industry that you choose to be in?
Like she said, adaptability, critical thinking. You have to be hardworking.
Yeah.
I think that is what every boss looks out for. A young man, a young lady who is ready to learn on the job. You know, whether you studied it or not. They want to see that you're eager to learn what life has given you at the particular moment. You know, I think that is what has, helped me to sort of do one or two things, at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say that.
So in a Ghanaian society, I mean, with where we find ourselves, people believe that when you are in a tertiary education, or it helps you prepare, or it helps the students prepare themselves for the workforce. But most importantly, when students are done with school and then they hit the job market or the labor market, it is kind of difficult for them to adapt.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a friend who after school, she went to GIJ. She did journalism. And then after school, she was in one of these media houses. And you hear her talking about the fact that, hey, it looks like these people didn't teach us a lot of things, because now it is the work. Now you have to put in the work. And mostly people find it very difficult to align whatever they have learned outside to, inculcating it in the job market. So now let's talk about how you think some of our, not some, all the universities, how we can align our courses to meet the demands of the job market.
Right. When I studied film, I thought that whatever I studied in the classroom was exactly what I was going to meet on the field. But still, it's the case where I learned a lot on the field, more than I did in the classroom, sadly. And I don't know why our systems are like that, but I think the theory that we do are more than the practical aspects. Because I can't go to a film school and then I learn more theory than I learn when it comes to practicals. I think now, from what I'm currently doing, that's communication. They teach us more practical than the theory. So probably from the time range as to when I did film and now, I can say that there has been a change. But I don't know about other schools and I don't know about other courses. But I can tell that there has been a change. I think the system is teaching more practical than they are with the theory.
With the theory. Yeah. Okay, so before I come to you, Ms. Bar, we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay tuned.
AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it. AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Welcome back from the break, and if you just joined us, this is African Student Voices on AAU TV, and AAU TV is the voice of higher education in Africa. So before the break, we were talking about how students or universities could align their courses to meet the demands of the job market, and that submission came from Nancy. So I'll move to Ms. Bar. Now, you are in school, and you are studying geography as a major. You understand, and then I'm sure you have aspirations of still being in that space. True or false?
True.
Okay, so now with your course and what you are aspiring to be, or with what you're aspiring to look at in the future, or in terms of career, how do you think your course is preparing you so much, or how do you think your course, of course, is preparing you to meet the demands of the job market?
I would have to agree with what Miss Nancy said.
Okay.
Because the course, and then like most other courses in a university and even in Ghana, focus more on theoretical aspects than on the practical aspects.
Okay.
I think there are a whole lot of challenges involved in that, and it will take us another day to tackle all of that. But then that's their problem, and there's a need for that shift. Because yes, they are trying. And so my course right now, especially when it comes to coding, technology, software, they're really integrating it into the field more than maybe the people in level 400 even experienced when they were in 300. Okay. But then there's still the problem of theory being more. So let's say right now it would be like 65% theory and 35% practical. And so I'm learning about the founding fathers of geography, and I don't even think I would need that in the job market. Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, there is this joke I saw somewhere on the internet where, mostly when we have the mathematics in schools, they are like, find Y, find X.
What has done for us right
someone actually asked, what has that what's that doing in the labor market right now? Nothing, exactly. So I'll read a publication here that was made by lecturers from the University of Cape Coast, and who stated that the National Service Scheme, which is NSS in Ghana, is designed to equip graduates with employability skills. Yeah. However, the effectiveness of such programs in providing practical experiences varies, imparting career readiness. Now let's talk about the role of internships and then NSS. How do these programs help prepare the student for the job market? I'll come to you. I was actually going to Miss Pam, but I think I changed from that. Yeah.
Let me just be honest.
Okay.
Every student who is preparing towards NSS is just getting ready to be paid at the end of a month. They're not very much focused on the job that you're going to do. Because mind you that they get posted to different places.
That's true.
Unless, of course, you have a particular place that you would like to go to. But other than that, she said you're studying geography. Then they'll post you to
TV3.
Or you are supposed to teach English at primary school, or so it's just it contradicts with whatever that you've studied the entire 4 years. And so what am I going to do? I'm here working as this, something that I did not
have
even
no idea
exactly
about.
So now the only thing that I'll look forward to is being paid every month. And that's what makes them happy.
But don't you think that is equally an avenue to build a skill? Because, for instance, as she's studying geography, and then maybe she's posted to TV3 to have their NSS or whatever. And I mean, that in as much as it has nothing, zero to nothing in relation to geography, don't you think there is some form of, some chance for you to build some form of skill? Maybe, who knows, you might actually find something interesting in there.
Yeah, you can. It's possible. That's if you're determined. Because other people go to different institutions and then at the end of the day they get to learn a new skill. They gain new knowledge. However, we're talking about longevity. What if they don't even keep you? Then the new skill that you've learned
is just something
is an addition to what you've studied in school. And now what are you going to use that for? I'm talking from experience. I don't know about other people. But I know that definitely when you're done with your national service, you don't get picked. It's
the chances are very limited.
They're very small. So what happens if you don't get picked? You end up being home and then you become unemployed. So what happens to the new skill that you've acquired? Becomes nothing.
Miss Ba, would you like to share your thoughts on this?
So I agree with her on the points of them posting people to places where it has zero correlation with what they are doing. But then I think when it comes to what they are learning there, so even if, let's say, I'm not learning something in relation to geography, and when it comes to the skills, like soft skills, let's say TV3, soft skills like adaptability, critical thinking, even social media skills, I'm learning all these things. And even if I'm not going to work in the media space after my national service, I think some of these skills are applicable even in geography. And so that's how people make change. So let's say if I had worked in a geography field, I may not have had experience in social media, etc. But now I'm taking that experience to the geography field, and then I'm making changes, and then I'm giving more to my employer than a person who just worked in the geography field would have given to that employer. And so I think even though it's necessary to have people working in places where that correlates with their course, I think it's also not bad to have them have diverse experience from various fields.
Okay. All right. So now let me come to you, Nancy, since you are in the working field. So let's talk about some challenges you had trying to pursue your career path.
I still don't have a definite career path.
Okay.
That's because I've been doing so many things, from after school. I did radio, done TV,
But according to your list, the list you had, I think all these things are part of.
Yes. Did radio. I didn't study, anything relating to communication then. But then I did radio, and then I did TV, and then I ended up, in a government institution doing something completely different from everything that I have done all the years, and so. I can't say that I have a definite career, but one thing that I know for sure is I've been very, very focused, on all the things that I've always wanted to do, which up until now, I would not advise, people to be doing so many things at the same time, because I feel like when you're focused on one thing, you tend to get higher results than multitasking most of the time. And one thing that has helped me is hard work and determination. I'm not where I want to be, but I think I am a step away from from yesterday. And so, yeah.
But has there been any challenges? I mean, regardless of you not having a career path, you've pursued a few things. So it would be okay. It would be nice if you share some challenges that you experienced.
Yes, I have.
We could take an advice from
Yes, I have faced many challenges. For instance, when it comes to film, I did film for a period of time, and I shot so many music videos at the point, and I faced certain challenges, discrimination, working, the film industry is male dominated.
That's true.
And so whenever you're working with people and they see a woman behind the scenes, it's more like, what is she doing? I've had someone ask me before, on my music videos production set, and ask whether I'm a video vixen or a makeup artist, because they believe that aside from you being a music video vixen or a makeup artist, then what else are you? They think a man is supposed to be the director and the producer. So that side, I have faced many challenges. And of course with radio, my challenge was the revenue is not enough. So I am not money hungry. However, if I'm passionate about something, I believe that at least I'm supposed to benefit a little from it. And our industry, we all can testify to it that it does not really pay much. I always tell people or those way younger than me, that doing the media job or being in the media is something that you're supposed to be passionate about. If you're not passionate about it, you cannot do it. If you're money hungry, you cannot do it. And so, I think when it comes to that side too, that is my challenge. And then with the corporates, it's a bit more political, so I wouldn't want to,
we understand. Deeper. Okay, now let me come to you, Miss Pat. This one is a bit straightforward, but do you think the traditional notion of a perfect career is accurate or limited?
It is limited.
And why do you say so?
Because everyone is different, right? And everyone is unique. And there are so many unique problems in society, and everyone has the ability to solve them. And it's only possible if you allow these people to look inside them, find what they are passionate about, find what they are best in, and then improve on that skill so that in the future somewhere they are solving that problem. Because in Ghana, we all want to be doctors and we all want to be lawyers. But if we are all doctors, who is going to make the furniture we are sitting on? Who is going to bring us the water? Who is going to be the psychiatrist taking care of your mental health? And so there's someone sitting there who really wants to be a psychiatrist, but then because in Ghana everyone wants, if you are not a doctor, if you are not a lawyer,
you're not wearing the suit,
then we don't know what you're doing. And so their parents, based on this influence, they're going to a field where they are not passionate. And that's why we have doctors who are not really paying attention in schools and then mistakenly overdosing people because that's not their passion. And they would have done so much better in another field. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Western world is so much more developed than the developing world. Because they really pay attention to each and every skill and make sure that they are capitalizing on everything, be it art, be it medicine, sports, everything. So that's why I feel our view is limited. And I think changing that would also lead us into like developing much further.
Okay, Nancy, would you want to add something?
Yeah, and I think it's all starts from our perception, how we perceive certain things. Because if our parents can sit back and say that, okay, it's okay for my daughter to go to school and probably dance, she can still make money from that, So it begins with us. And I think we also somehow in our small corner, we judge other people's careers and say, hey, this one, you're a painter. When? But then if we allow people to pursue whatever they want to do, then probably, we will see a change.
Okay,
so on what you just said, I just remembered a friend joked about something that your mom is happy that Endurance Grant bought her mom a car,
You
but then she doesn't want you to be a
exactly.
dancer.
You know, when would that change?
Yeah.
It's a serious
Oh,
problem.
but funny enough, I think that side of things, it's actually coming up a lot because I see she's opened this dance for kids, and then I mean that it's kind of becoming appreciated.
Yes.
Now, dance in a way is becoming appreciated because people see that these people are traveling and then doing all that, and then exactly they are buying cars for their parents. Okay, so I want to read something here. So Ghana Statistical Service as of 2024 stated that the youth unemployment rate in Ghana stands at over 13%, with underemployment affecting even more individuals. Now let's talk about how the fear of unemployment influenced your academic or your career decisions. I'll come to you, Ms. Ba.
So I don't really think I've had a problem with that, mainly because, as I already said, I'm not really fixed on a career path, and I just want to travel the world. And so I'm actually against the rigid workspaces. I want something more flexible.
Yeah.
But then I think that has, looking at my circle, that has really affected even the courses people pick in universities. Because as we're already saying, people have picked courses they are not really passionate about because they are afraid that if they do another course, they're going to stay home for 5 years without a job. And so it's really affecting the Ghanaian youth, and that's also what's leading to underemployment. Because when people even follow the things they are passionate about, there's no job market for them. So now they have to go to another. So I hear someone who is a graduate who is now a baker, not because he's passionate about baking,
but because they just want to make some ends meet.
I totally agree with her.
Okay.
Totally.
All right. So we are coming to the end of the discussion, but we'll take a quick advice from both of you. So what advice would you give to young students who are, unsure about their career choices? I'll start from you, Madam Kaya.
Whatever your intuitions are telling you, it's exactly what you should follow. Like I said, I have this notebook where I've written down some of the things that I wanted to, and I think I've done about 3 of them, and so I knew that I was sure about it. And let me be a bit religious. It even says in the Bible that a man's room, a man's talents makes room for him. If you're talented about something and you're sure of it, then you should pursue it.
Okay.
Definitely, you're going to be successful. Doing that. It might take a long, while, but I'm sure definitely live your life. I wanted to say something, but I would just But live your life. Do the needful. And
of course you would succeed.
Work hard, but pray. It definitely helps.
All right, Miss I'll come to you.
I agree with what she said about going for what you believe in, going for what you are passionate about. I think one other thing I would add is that the youth anyone should sit down, have a plan, and be structured. Do research too. So you're passionate about this, research more into your passion. Research into all the career opportunities or all the opportunities that are available for you, someone with this talent. Have a structured plan. I like what Miss Nancy said, that since primary she had a notebook with a list of whatever she wanted to achieve and every milestone, and she keeps checking herself with that list. I think that's one thing the youth lack, because we always go with the tide. That's why we're always blaming the government. Oh, it's because of inflation I've not done this. But then we never have a plan. So that's one advice. Have a structure, have a plan, have a metric to measure, test or measure yourself by.
Okay. So thank you both for coming. It's been an interesting conversation. So this has been African Student Voices, and of course we spoke about the myth of a perfect career, rethinking success after graduation. My name is Jemima Demtochi. See you same time next time. Bye.